World War II is the most devastating war in human history. Numerous large cities were left crumbling after this war. Today, nearly all geopolitical events and international relations can be traced back to this war. Friends, I've told you many stories from World War II in previous videos. But in this video, come, let's understand World War II in depth. Starting to end. What happened exactly? Why? And what was its impact? This is the story of World War II.
It is difficult to track down one single event that sparked the conflict, for ultimately it was a series of events that conspired together to eventually light the flame of war.
The world's most hated treaty, the Treaty of Versailles, thus starting World War II in 1939.
The whole world is against Hitler and Hitlerism.
Let's begin the story in 1919, the year when World War I ended, and the famous peace treaty was signed, known as the Treaty of Versailles. This treaty contained an important clause, Article 231, which held that all the losses caused due to World War I, Germany was to bear the responsibility for all such losses. This clause is also known as War Guilt Clause, because basically, it was trying to imply that regardless of the countries participating in the war, Germany was to be blamed for it entirely. France and Britain wanted Germany to pay heavy costs for losing this war. They wanted to recover their losses from Germany. As a result, according to the Treaty of Versailles, Germany was told to pay a fine of $33 billion to the other countries. In today's money, it amounts to around $270 billion. This is such a large amount that you won't believe that it was only in 2010 Germany made the final payment of this fine. It took almost 100 years. You'd wonder where this money comes from. Obviously, from Germany. From its citizens. The first payment of this fine was made by Germany in 1921. Right after that, there was hyperinflation in Germany. Germany's currency back then was the German mark. You can't imagine how rapidly it was devalued. In 1922, in Berlin, a packet of bread cost 160 marks. The following year, in 1923, the same packet of bread cost 200 billion marks. Obviously, the economy was crippled, and the rate of unemployment rose rapidly. In such circumstances, in our story, entered Adolf Hitler, a young political leader who knew how to manipulate the masses with his speeches. In 1923, Hitler's Nazi Party tried to overthrow the German government by staging a coup. Even though this attempt failed, this caused Hitler's popularity among the masses to increase manifold. Rumors were spread among the people that the embarrassment faced by Germany, the international humiliation of Germany, were because of the anti-national elements living in the country. People were distressed. It was easy to manipulate them. Hitler claimed that the Jews and socialists living in the country were to be blamed. They were the reason for Germany's disgrace. Over the next 10 years, propaganda was used in abundance. Media organizations were paid. Hate speeches were everywhere. In 1929 came the Great Depression. This worsened the already bad unemployment situation. In 1933, 6 million people were unemployed in Germany. Many people were homeless. Children were starving to death. As a result, in 1933, Hitler declared himself the dictator of Germany. After taking over full control of the country, Hitler started working on making his dream of a German empire come true. German Reich. A state that would be racially pure. Its residents would be people of the Aryan race only. There would be no space for Jews and Slavics. To fill people with hatred, they came up with the Judeo-Bolshevism conspiracy theory. According to this conspiracy theory, the Russian Revolution in 1917 was supposedly caused by the Jews, which eventually led to the formation of the Soviet Union. In 1935, the rest of the world came to know that Germany had an air force. This might not seem like a big deal to you. After all, every country has its air force. But friends, the Treaty of Versailles laid down the condition that Germany cannot have any form of military power. This was an open violation of the Treaty of Versailles by Hitler. But by this point in time, many people in Britain believed that the contents of the Treaty of Versailles were very unfair to Germany. They were asking for such a large ransom that crippled the country, and the country wasn't even allowed to have military. People consider it to be very demanding. In June 1935, Britain signed the Anglo-German Naval Agreement. This formally recognized that Hitler had the authority to form his navy. Germany could have an independent navy, but the growing militarization in Germany alerted France. France built a 450 kilometers long fortification on its eastern border. This was named the Maginot Line. In 1938, when Hitler believed that his military was sufficiently prepared, he focused his attention on their neighbor Austria. Austria was a must-have country for Hitler. He wanted all German-speaking countries to unite as one nation. His ultimate goal was not only to conquer as many countries as possible to satisfy his pride, but also to acquire its resources, to advance his own country. The people Hitler believed to be racially superior, his Aryan race. He wanted to give them Lebensraum, to give them living space, so that they could live freely. In February 1938, Hitler met Austrian Chancellor Kurt Schuschnigg